It's week 8 of the high school football season, and man, oh man, where has the time gone? After tonight, just 2 more weeks left before the playoffs. Conference winners beginning to become more and more clear, and that's exactly what happened tonight in our 3A 5 News Game of the Week.
That's right. 2 teams both residing in Franklin County, both of them sitting 4-0 in conference play, and both wanting to earn bragging rights over the other. It was must-see action when Charleston went on the road to visit Boonville.
The Tigers, they haven't lost a regular season conference game since 2019. Boonville, of course, they moved from the 3A4 to the 3A1 this season. They haven't lost since 2016, so something had to give. Charleston up first in this one. Brandon Scott, he's going to head to the air and hit Britton Ketter. He's going to take the Tigers all the way down into the red zone. This Charleston offense absolutely lethal. Later in the drive, Scott doing what he does best. Quick toss here to Brevin Ketter, who easily takes it in for the touchdown. Charleston had a quick 7-0 lead. We go later in the first half. Charleston once again with the ball. Scott looking for another target. They have so many weapons on this team. Reese Mareshka, who takes it from midfield, dodging defenders left and right. Goes all the way down for another Tiger touchdown. They were in business, but don't count out Boonville quite yet. Quarterback Peyton Tatum here with a fake and the toss to Trace Hall. He's going to put on his best dancing shoes. It turns on the heat, takes it all the way home. 68-yard Bearcat touchdown. This game not over quite yet. Charleston, though, they were looking to put the finishing touches. Scott here with the keeper. 1st and goal, strolls in for another easy Charleston touchdown. Tigers stay undefeated in conference play. They take the 5 News Game of the Week, 42-14.
Charleston looks pretty good. Now over to another group of Tigers who look pretty good. Bentonville hosting Rogers in a big 7A West matchup. And it was senior night, so leave it up to one of the senior leaders to get things started for the Tigers. Hand off to Josh Ficklin, and he says, adios. 74 yards on the second play from scrimmage. He gets the party started early, and just like that, it's 7-0 Bentonville. Now, second drive, would they have an encore? Well, they were facing a 4th and 3. Carter Nye going to C.J. Brown on the far sideline. He makes a catch, breaks a tackle, and he's leaving the Mounties in the dust as well. He dials up the house call Selly, and it's 14-0 Bentonville. Rogers would answer on their next possession, though. Handoff to Jacob Jenkins up the gut, and he punches it in. That made it a 1-score game. And after a Bentonville fumble, Rogers here with the chance to tie things up. But Dane Williams' pass picked off by Brock Skidmore in the end zone, and he's going to get a good return out of this one, and it was never that close after that. Bentonville wins 44-16. They remain unbeaten in conference play and atop the 7A West.
All right, what's cooking next? We head to the 5A West. First place Shiloh hosting second place Farmington, and the Cards came to play. Very first play from scrimmage. Sam Wells goes over the middle to Jagger Gordon, and you bet that man's got moves like Jagger. 80 yards to the house. A stunner to begin this one. It was 7-0 Farmington. Next Cardinals drive, they're looking to take a 2-possession lead, but Dax Widger, he's going to come away with the interception for the Saints. Eli Wisdom would run for an 80-yard score on the very next play. We were tied at 7. Champions Field was rocking. And on the next Shiloh drive, on the very first play again, Bo Williams barely gives me enough time to get down the field and into my shooting position. He goes 79 yards. Saints had a 14-7 lead. Like the little high step there from Williams. He's in for 7. We go second quarter. It's 14-10 now. Farmington, though, they wouldn't go away in this one. They go back over top. Wells with the dime to the corner of the end zone. Peyton Funk comes down with the score. Cards up 16-14, but right before the half, Saints faced with a 4th and 12. No problem. Wisdom with a strike to Bodie Neal for the score. Shiloh takes a 21-16 lead into the half. They went back and forth again in the second half. Saints, though, get the win, stay undefeated in conference play. 51-30 is your final.
Ooh, a 50-burger on the scoreboard. Now over to Gravett, where they were hosting Green Forest on their homecoming night. We'll pick things up in the late first quarter. Kyler Austin here punching it in with the short touchdown run, and that gave Gravett a 7-0 lead. 13-3 now, and Rhett Hilger finds number 3, another score, and Gravett had a 20-7 lead. Now, let's jump ahead into the second half, pick things up in the third quarter here. Gabe Holmes getting the carry, and yeah, he's going to find the end zone here as well. A 30-yard touchdown run. Gravett goes on to get the win at home on homecoming night against Green Forest, 43-3.
All right, now we head from Arkansas to Oklahoma, out to the Sooner State. The Poto Pirates hosting the Sallisaw Black Diamonds, and Poto went to work tonight. Jackson Summers, first and goal for Poto. He's going to run it in for the first touchdown of the night. In just the first 2 minutes of the game, it was 7-0 Poto. We move on in this one. It's 9-0 Poto, and here Cord Fenton, he's going to hit Wyatt Gamble, who's in for the score. Poto rocking in this one. They are up by 3 possessions, and they're still going. Jackson Summers, he's in for more score here. He's going to rumble into the end zone. Pirates, they get a big win. They're going to knock off Sallisaw. They stay undefeated in district play. Poto gets the win 45-6. And when we return, Elkins hosting Ozark with both teams 4-0 in conference play. See who could move closer to the conference crown in the 4A1. That and more when we return here on Football Friday Night.
We're the Elkins cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday Night.
Welcome back into Football Friday Night. This season, Ozark made the move from the 4A4 to the 4A1. After a 4-0 start, the Hillbillies still haven't lost a conference game in over 2 years. Tonight, the Ozark Hillbillies made the trip to Elkins. The Elks also sit 4-0 in the conference. The winner of this one would be that much closer to wrapping up the conference title. Here we go in this one. I have been waiting all day. Could the Elks defend home turf? Dizzy Dean here to Deshaun Chairs, but the Ozark defense came to play. Gavin Gilbreth throws them down, but don't worry, Elkins was getting started. Dizzy Dean here, back to pass. Aiden Williams, he's going to make the catch across the 50, and he's going to get into Ozark territory. Elkins would go on to score on the drive, but here this wouldn't end so well. Dean to the air. Kobe Wilbanks comes away with the interception for Ozark. Elkins, though, had a 7-0 lead, and here they're going to score another point. Ozark, though, they tie things up. Up the middle, Landon Wright. We were tied at 7. But Elkins, they went wild in the second half. This team is for real, folks. They're going to stay undefeated in conference play. Deshaun Chairs, he gets in the end zone. What a game for the Elks. Defending home turf. Elkins, like I said, they're undefeated in conference play, knocking off the Hillbillies 48-21.
And next we move to the 5A West, where Prairie Grove has had no trouble adjusting to life in its new conference. The Tigers sit 4-0, but tonight made the trip to the River Valley to face an Alma Airedale team that was looking to show Prairie Grove exactly how tough this conference really is. We'll pick things up in the first quarter between the Tigers and the Airedales. Prairie Grove on the attack. Camden Patterson handing it off to running back Ethan Miller, former 5 News Athlete of the Week this season. He turns it up the left sideline, and he's running it into the end zone. That's a touchdown. 2-point conversion was good, so it was 8-0 Prairie Grove. Keeper in the first quarter here, Joe Trusty going to the air. He finds his wide receiver, Ian Rhodes, and that's a big gain for the first down. Skip it to the second quarter, though. Ethan Miller off to the races again, and another touchdown for Prairie Grove. The Tigers up by 1 possession. Here, Trusty going back to the air again, finds his running back, Carlos Gonzalez, and he's in for the score and the touchdown. This was a back-and-forth game. Second half, though, Prairie Grove handing it off to Connor Wetzel, and he gets in for the Tiger touchdown. Prairie Grove goes on the road and picks up a big win, 45-30.
All right, we're staying in the River Valley. Northside hosting North Little Rock tonight. And the Charging Wildcats, one of the best teams in the state, they are going to strike first. Malachi Gober, he's going to head the air, hit Malachi Muhammad. 7-0 Charging Wildcats. But Northside, they came to play in this one as well. On offense now, McLean Moody, he heads to the air, and Erza Phillips makes the grab. Stiff arm, get all the way out of here. Big gain for the Grizzlies. We go second quarter now. Same drive, and the Grizzlies would get in the end zone. Moody to the air. What a toss. Poon Savoy in for the touchdown. We were all tied up, but North Little Rock, they were looking real good in this one. Malachi Gober, he's going to head to the air. Once again, the Northside defense lets up a touchdown. Charging Wildcats go into Fort Smith tonight and get the win over the Grizzlies, 38-14.
Now, over in Springdale, Harbor welcoming in Southside, and we had plenty of points in this one. Second half, Wildcats in the red zone. Rhett Richardson lofting it over to the corner of the end zone, and Blige Cook makes a great grab. It's a 38-21 lead for Harbor, but then here come the Mavericks. Carter Zimmerman at quarterback, and he's showing off the wheels. He cuts it upfield. He picks up the first down. Then, later on in the drive, Zimmerman finishes what he started. Reads the defense perfectly, keeps it himself, and it's an easy 6 points. The Mavericks climbing back into this one, and they weren't done. Again in the red zone. This time Zimmerman, he does hand it off to Isaac Gregory, and Gregory bounces outside, just sneaks inside the pylon for the touchdown. Southside storms all the way back, and they win this one on the road, 55-44 the final.
And we're not done yet. When we return, Razorback Stadium, Purple Dogs, Red Dogs. Fayetteville and Springdale renew their rivalry. That and more when we return here on Football Friday Night. Not done yet here in Week 8. Tonight at Razorback Stadium, we renewed one of the best rivalries in the 7A with Fayetteville taking on Springdale.
Purple Dogs versus the Red Dogs. Two teams currently headed in opposite directions, but for each team, this game meant the same thing. A year's worth of bragging rights, especially when you're playing at the home of the Hogs.
Second game this season for Fayetteville, playing at Razorback Stadium, and they looked very comfortable. Drake Lindsay to Locke McKinney here in the first quarter. Fayetteville had a 7-0 lead. We're going to move on in this one. Lindsay doing what he does best with his arm, chucking it all the way from midfield. And there's his favorite target. Kaylon Morris takes down two Springdale defenders, 14-0. Fayetteville. We're going to move along in this one. Same score, Fayetteville. They are going to add a third touchdown. J.J. Harjo right up the middle. The offensive line helps out as well. Fayetteville takes a 21-0 lead. They earn those bragging rights for another year. Purple Dogs, they're going to take down Springdale 35-6.
Now over to the 6A. Greenwood at Russellville. Greenwood yet to drop a conference game on the season. 4th and 2 on the goal line. Hunter Houston to Grant Carnes, and just like that, touchdown Greenwood. It was 7-0 Bulldogs. Russellville up 14-7 here actually, but Houston going back to his favorite target, Grant Carnes, and he finds the end zone again before the half. We had a tied up ball game, 14-14. That Hunter Houston guy, he's pretty good. So is Grant Carnes. So they're going to connect for a third touchdown of the night. Greenwood taking a 21-14 lead in the third quarter on that score, 78 yards to the house. But Russellville, they stayed in this one, tied at 21. Now in the fourth, 3rd and 1, Houston runs it in himself this time. Bulldogs up 28-21, and they go on to pull out the win on the road, 42-21.
We had a lot of good games tonight, a lot of upset bids, but those conference titles becoming a bit more clear.
And with just 2 weeks left in the regular season, a lot of good games left in this season as well.
And that puts a bow on Week 8. Remember, no Hogs tomorrow, but thanks